Thank you for joining us for this month. Our support video this month is really, really special to Angie and I. We're going to be talking about how Share supports the LGBTQ community and families through loss. First, we'll start with intros, and then I'll just give you a little bit of background on this. Angie, you want to go ahead?
Sure. My name is Angelique Chelton. I am a clinical mental health therapist. I'm certified in perinatal mental health, in grief and loss, and in trauma. I sit on the board of Share of Lancaster. And most importantly, I am a lost mom of two children. My first baby, Callan, was born in 2004 at 8 weeks of pregnancy, and my son, Andrew, was born in 2005 at 22 and a half weeks.
Thank you, Angie. And I am Rachael Delacroce. I'm on the board of Share of Lancaster. I am a lost mom as well. I have two daughters that passed. My first daughter, Audrey, passed from Turner syndrome during pregnancy, and my son is a twin, and his sister Colette was a vanishing twin. So I'm going to recap for you the last couple of months and what Share's been doing in the community. In June, or we start in May. In May, we did our Bereaved Mother's Day event at Lidditz Springs Park, and we hope to be able to do this every single year. We kind of joined together, had small group, and then had kind of a minute to ourselves walking through the park and doing something very meaningful on that day. Then in June, we did our group for Father's Day and the non-birthing partners group, which was beautiful, such a wonderful experience. That group is open to everyone in the community, parents, friends, grandparents, anyone who's kind of just wants to get in a group for support with that loss. And then most recently, Angie and I were both at the Lidditz Chooses Love Pride event in June. We had an information table set up. We didn't know what to expect. We just want the community to know that we're here for all losses in all forms and all different stories. We want to be able to give you and offer you the love and support that you deserve. So what Angie and I found, which is why we really want to talk about this today, the amount of people that actually came up to our table and just Share was in their life 20 years ago, 10 years ago. Some of them just are now saying, hey, I never actually thought about what I needed to do to heal from my loss. Like, I keep pushing it aside, thinking time's going to change, and it's not. And what we've kind of discovered is the community needs us in all ways, and they need to know that we've always been here. We just want to make sure that you know what we have to offer and how we can support you. So Angie, can you just talk a little bit of some of the research you've done and what's really opened your mind to knowing what the experience is and why our support is so needed in this community?
Absolutely. So yeah, first of all, I think that it is really important to note that Share is here for every family, for every kind of pregnancy loss experience. We wish to come alongside you and let you know that you matter, your baby matters, your experience matters, and we're here for you. No matter who you are, where you come from, we are here for everyone. And so when we think about this particular community, the LGBTQ community, it's important to note that there are differences in the way these families conceive and in the outcomes of these pregnancies. So one of the things that we know through research is that families, LGBTQ families, often experience higher rates of both miscarriage and stillbirth. And these families actually do have lower birth weights among their newborn babies. So this is an at-risk community. It's important to note that as far as like the percentage is that we're going to have more families who are LGBTQ losing their babies than families who are cis hetero. So it's important for us as a pregnancy loss community to be knowledgeable about that and to be ready to serve these families in our community.
Yes, definitely. And I think so much we take for granted just the cost that goes into creating a family. not that my scenario is the same, but we did have to go through the donor process, and the donor process is so expensive. It entails such a lengthy cost. I always tell my son, like, you cost us $40,000. You were worth every penny, but you were very, very expensive. The process of all that, having the funds to be able to do that, like being able to support through that, and then to go through a loss after all of that, it's so defeating. And how do you even then start again? Now you've got to like rebuild all your money back and figure out maybe another way to go ahead. It's not this just free ticket that you get like all other couples that are just, it's an easy, the loss is still devastating regardless of what the scenario is. But I think we don't see the picture beforehand to know the impact of what that loss then entails, to say, hey, I don't even know if we can go through this again. Like, this process isn't within our means now. That loss, that was it. That was our one chance.
Right.
So I think just the financial strain with that, the support through all of that, and then these losses after that, it's just the grief is, I just can't even imagine that level. And then to know like, that might be it. That might be the last, you might not get that chance to have a living child. Just that, yeah.
So you make a really, really good point, is that LGBTQ families not only have differences in how they have their babies, but there are differences in how they conceive their babies. So not every cis hetero couple is able to conceive easily. There are fertility issues that cis hetero couples have as well. But when we think about the percentages, it's a much higher number of people in the LGBTQ community who are using assisted reproductive technology in order to achieve a biological child. And you are exactly right, is it is incredibly expensive. And we know that LGBTQ families are often poorer and of a lower socioeconomic status than an average cis hetero family, comparable cis hetero family. So there are extreme complexities and vulnerabilities that go into how these families are conceiving. And again, we have all different kinds of combinations of the way that people are choosing to build a family. But it is much more complex than a cis hetero couple with no fertility issues just deciding that they want to have a child. That's a very different beginning to their family story.
Yeah. The grief is like already, if it's been years, if it's been trial after trial, and all of these like failed months, the different impact that they walk into that with, and then the stress and you can only imagine what that does even to your mental health and your physical health. And now you're going into a pregnancy already grieving everything that you've already gone through, to then experience a loss on top of that. And just, it's just, there's so many layers that we don't know, that we're just beginning to understand, but we want to make sure that we make ourselves knowledgeable, right? So that we can be available to the community to say, hey, like, we don't know exactly the scenario you're going through, but we understand that that is a whole nother level of grief that needs our support in a unique way, and our attention and our efforts to make sure that you understand that we're here for you, and that your grief is honored in our eyes. Just, in a new way, just because we're so understanding of how that came about.
And the LGBTQ community also has difficulty with like multiple things. So it's not just fertility that is the concern. The LGBTQ community has difficulty accessing healthcare overall that is appropriate for whatever their need is. So there's a lot of times that these individuals are not, do not have as close a relationship with medical care as what someone else might. There's overall discrimination that they worry about when they walk into a doctor's office or a fertility clinic. They're not only concerned about, is this something that's going to be possible? Will my body be able to do this? Can I even afford to do this? They're also worried about the personal reaction of every single person that they encounter going through this experience. So all of that brings with it this different level of baseline stress and baseline history before they're even entering into the pregnancy. So very much we do look at LGBTQ families and reproductive couples as a marginalized group that has specific challenges that need to be overcome, that are both biological and sociological, that are based around the way other people respond to them.
Yeah, no, it's huge. That's such a huge thing. Yeah, and I think just being at the Littich Chooses Love and seeing the impact of the families, and then mostly what was most impactful for me was the young kids that are now just getting this opportunity and the support from the community to truly just be themselves and be loved and supported. But as I'm looking at them, it's like all these other challenges that then open our eyes. Like, I want them to know we're here to support them, because in the future, they might want to start a family, and that unique scenario to them, I want to already be planting those seeds. Like, hey, we're here for you even before you'll ever need us. We're here to just let you know that we're supporting you, and we know that there might be a time that you'll think about us, and you'll know that we're here for you during those times of, you know, our burials. Like, that's such a big thing. And if you're not at one of the hospitals that offers our services, you don't get that unique chance. Or if this is at home because you don't feel comfortable going to the hospital because you don't know how you're going to be judged, but you know, oh wait, Share will help make this work for me privately so that I don't have to involve the hospital. They'll let us and our child be a part of that burial. It's like, it's really just about, like, I always think like we're here for the people who've gone through loss, but we're really here in those beginning points to tell them, hey, we're here. If you ever go through this, I want you to remember us, because I want to be able to tell you what to do the minute you experience this, so that you can have all that love and support during. Not, I love that we can help people 20 years later, but what about the impact of helping them right in those moments? And they just remember us because we were there, and we were there showing our support before they ever needed us. I think that's what hit me the biggest part.
Yeah, and isn't this what advocacy and raising awareness is about?
Yeah.
Is that we hope you never need to think of us.
Yeah.
We hope that you never ever need to know our phone number or visit our website. It would be great if we were if we went out of business, you know, because nobody needed us anymore.
Yeah.
But we raise awareness and we go to events to tell the people who we're reaching out to that we are here if you need us.
Yeah.
And so going to events like this, reaching out to our community, offering these services that we offer, are there specifically for when you do need it.
Yeah.
And having, you know, Sheriff Lancaster in the back of your mind, because it's not only about you, but it's about your cousin and your best friend and the hairdresser and all of the people in your circle.
You're right.
You know, that you then, knowing about Share, become an ambassador for Share, being able to tell people in your network that these services are available and that there are people in our community who care about us, who care about our losses and our babies and our experience. And we can reach out to them when we need them.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. And I think the biggest thing there is just like, it might not be you, but it might be somebody that you love that needs that. And you can offer that. You can, I mean, I've had people call our support line and they've just said, hey, I have a friend. I want to get this all figured out so that I can just tell them what to do, or what they offer them, what might be best for them. I don't want them to have to make all these calls. I don't want them to have to call the funeral home and do all of this. Can you help me and educate me? And then I can help support them. And do you think our group, you know, they'll ask, is your group good for people who have just had a loss, or what do you recommend? And I mean, you could be that advocate for that person going through it and just say, hey, yeah, and we had people walk up and say, hey, I have someone in my family that did have a loss. Can I get a little care bag together to give them and your information, and we'll see. Hopefully this will help them. But you're right. The biggest thing is like educating ourselves so that we can then support people. It might not be us, and it might be, but if it's not, we can at least support the people we love in our community in just huge ways. So yeah, I think it was a really profound day and experience. And just being there and being a part of, I think at first people were kind of confused, like why would Cher be, this doesn't seem relevant in how. And I think at first we didn't know what kind of impact we would have, but I think as we go, we're like, no, this is going to stem out in everything we do, because we want everyone who needs our support and love to be at our group every month. If that helps you, we want you there. If you want to come to our walk, we would love to have you at our walk. If you know, God forbid you need to be at one of our burials, we want you to know that you're welcome. And that everyone can come to these burials and join together. We have people of all, like, it's just such a beautiful gathering of people in all different shoes and all different walks of life. And we want to make sure that you know that you're safe and that you're welcomed and that we'll support you and love you. So I think that's the biggest part, is just letting everyone know, like, Cher is just love. We just love and support everyone who needs us in whatever way. It might not have been your loss, but you might have been affected because it was your best friend, and you just don't know how to grieve your own grief when you're trying to help them. Fathers, mothers, non-birthing parents, like, how do you take care of yourself too? We're all affected by loss, whether it was our own or someone we love. So just letting the community know that we're here for them is just the biggest thing for us.
Yeah. And I think it's so powerful to me when I think of, like, the very name of our group is Cher of Lancaster. We are a community. Our community is made up of a really diverse group of people. We have all different kinds of people. And, you know, being a burial host and seeing the variety of people who bring their babies all together to be buried on the same day at the same place. We have families that don't speak English who are coming. We have families from Africa who come in, like, bright clothing. We have had Orthodox Catholic families come with their priests in full robe to give a special blessing over their babies as they bury them. We have had LGBTQ families. We have had Amish families. We have families that are truly representative of Lancaster County, of our community. And so our organization really is about the people in our community. It is about us welcoming and serving whoever is experiencing fertility challenges, pregnancy loss. We are here for all of that and for all of them.
Yeah. Yes. I love that. Thank you. The burial specifically, when I think about all the babies together, I think that's probably one of the most beautiful things we do, is that not only are we not alone here in this life going through all of this loss, but like our babies are all together in that shared burial. And it's just a shared grief that we're willing to, like, share with each other is really what we're doing. We're sharing our grief, we're sharing our love, we're sharing our support, because everyone is validated in what they're going through, no matter what stage they're at.
Right.
So
what a deeply human, common experience that all of these families from all of these different places held this hope of this baby in their heart, a baby that they wanted so much. And then that baby was not able to be born and wasn't able to live in their family the way that they hoped. What an incredible, like, just moment that kind of pulls all of us together and says, look, isn't this like a raw human experience of love and grief? And we're all doing this.
Yeah, we're all sharing in that. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's kind of it for this topic. Is there anything else, Angie, that you want to add before I go into just updating the community with our events coming up?
Yeah, I wanted to say that I was incredibly moved also at Pride, hearing, having families stop by and say, "Hey, here are my children," and their teenage children, but you helped me bury my older children who are not here. And there go their teenage children walking along. And just, it really helped me to see kind of the long-term longevity that Share has had in this community, that it people and children and grandparents were served by Share, and now young couples are being served by Share. People who were brothers and sisters, siblings of babies who died 20 years ago were served by Share. So that was really impactful to me, just like recognizing the width and the breadth of the impact that Share has had on this community.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So our next burial will be July 11th at 2:30. All the information is on our website and on Facebook. Angie and I will both be there for that one. Our next group is July 15th, and we're really going to talk about, I feel like through our groups and talking with the people there, we really figured out the impact of relationships and what they go through after loss. All relationships, any relationship you've had or will have after loss is impacted by that loss. So we're really going to dive into that. And then I just want to touch on, we just put a save the date out for our conference. That's October 28th. And then our walk will follow on the 29th in the evening. So those are kind of the big stuff coming up. We have amazing things coming up in the following year that we'll give more details on. But for now, we just want you guys to know that we are here. Share is here to share in our community all the love and support that every single person is worthy of and deserving of to receive. And we are here for you in any form that you need us. Always feel free. You can call us, email us, message us privately, but we're here to love and support you through all of your grief and your loss. Thank you so much.